जयपुर वाया कोटा।
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ರೈಲು
Hyderabad को 50 एक्सप्रेस पॉलोबोसी स्टेशन नेताजी भवन कृपया ध्यान दो.
Hello and welcome on this Saturday night. Some Saturday night fever going on in Lucknow. You're watching Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me, Joy Bhattacharjya and Michael Vaughan joining us from, UK. But the big news coming in from Lucknow is that after being put into bat by Delhi, they have got to within 2 runs of my predicted score, which was 191. They've got to 193. And honestly, in the 6th of the last ball, I was 1 bounce away from getting it absolutely spot on. Am I disappointed? No, I'm not, because I won the game and now I will get some applause from both Joy and Michael and everyone here.
Congratulations.
Don't hold back. Don't hold back. Thank you. You're too kind. Please, this is very embarrassing. Thank you.
And you're too modest. You obviously
It's
didn't
very
ask for it. You
embarrassing. Thank you
didn't
so
want to
much.
speak about it at all.
I just got lucky. What can I say? I'd like to thank my dear friends, Joy and Michael. But Lucknow would like to thank some people. The first person would be from Delhi. That would be Khalil. Because Khalil dropped a catch, which was very expensive. Kyle Mayers, who of course is playing today because Quinton de Kock is on national duty with South Africa. So Mayers gets a chance. And then gets a chance after he gets that chance. Dropped at 14 and then goes on to just wreak havoc
Absolutely,
on Delhi.
absolutely. And I mean, he's a strong man. He was obviously not getting his timing right. But somehow that whole drop, he was 14 or 15 balls at that point.
Yeah, look what he did.
And then it just freed him up. The next one, you look at it, 14, 15.
You're doing quick math, right? So
Yeah.
23 balls,
Yeah, 23 balls, 59.
59 runs.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, if you're a fielder, and Michael, I'm sure that everybody's dropped catches, right? And then which are expensive. Every time the ball goes for a 6, you want to get a spade and dig a hole, right?
Yeah, I drop more than most, so I know exactly how Khalil feels. You just can't allow these players the chance. I mean, it's a relatively straightforward one. I have to say, he'll be playing again. Quinton de Kock might arrive, but he'll be going again. What a beautiful striker of a cricket ball he is. Amazing innings, really. When you think after 5 overs there were 25, it's we've spoken about KL Rahul at the top of the order, and he kind of went into his shell and couldn't get going. And I thought, oh, wait a minute, they're looking like getting a 140 score because they're just kind of not playing with any intent. The pitch started off a bit of spin, but it was Kyle Mayers that just started to launch the ball into the stands that gave the rest of the batting lineup confidence to basically say, all right, there's a bit of purchase there, there's a bit of spin, but it's a good pitch to strike the ball on. Let's try and get that big number. And they look like they've ended up with a very, very powerful number.
Yeah, very powerful number, especially given the first quarter, like we're saying, right? 5 overs, you get 25, you're looking 150, you'd be happy. There you go, 30-run power play. And then after that, boom, boom, and some more boom.
No, just see that. 14.75, then it goes down to 7.6. So this is the most schizophrenic innings I've ever seen. I mean, it's one of the guys keep going,
true.
It's
Yeah.
either
It
it's
was
one way or
weird.
the other. And wait, I'm going to read this back for you.
Yeah.
Over 20, 22 runs. Over 19, 14 runs. Over 18 goes down to 7. Over 17 goes up to 19. Over 16 goes down to 4. Over 15 is 10. Over 14 goes down to 5. It's just up, down, up, down, up, down. And so it's the strangest innings that you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, one bowler bowls one good over, the next bowler gets collared.
That's true. It was an intensely roller coaster,
Yeah.
intensely roller coaster innings. And at the end of that, you realize that you have more ups than downs, because if you end up close to 200, it means you did more good than the overs that Delhi kind of pulled back. And again, you come back to just how expensive those drops and losses can be. In the first 5 overs, Michael, did you get the idea that it was there was butter on the ball?
Yeah, I also like Ricky Ponting's interview where he said, "Oh, we'll have words about it." I know he'll have lots of words about drop catches. He was, the principal of our era of, kind of setting the tone in the field of such a high standard. Look, you just can't give the play. If it's a tough chance and the ball comes hard and fast at the fielders these days because of the power and the size of the bats, and flying to your right, flying to your left, you go, yeah, that's not always going to be taken, but these catches should be taken. You've got to be taken. I mean, as I said, if you give the power and the skill level of these players these days, a second chance, they're going to get to a number that's going to be very, very difficult to chase down because that element of spin. It was almost as if they were batting to say 1 over it was a bad pitch, and then they go, no, it's not a bad pitch, we'll get 15 of it. And they go back to, oh, it's a bad pitch again. They didn't quite work out throughout the holiday. Is it a good pitch or is it a bad pitch? It's confused me.
Yeah, it did. I think it confused everybody. I think it confused the batters. It confused the bowlers. It confused all of us sitting here. Maybe it was one of those, it was one thing from one end and one thing from another end. We've seen crazier stuff happen. Maybe it was just that. It looked strange. I mean, that surface, that square in the center, had more colors than a paint company shade card.
Exactly, and of course, it's not true that Delhi had Amul as their sponsor and therefore Butterfingers and all. That's not true. It's not true.
Yes, one of the teams does. Though,
yeah, quite possible.
Yeah, one of the
they
teams
should check
does.
once actually.
Yeah, it really was getting really slippery. But then again, let's have a look at the batters and how they went. Of course, there's the captain KL Rahul just couldn't get off. He was 12 or he played 12 balls and scored 8 runs. I'm sorry. Deepak Hooda also was at a run a ball. Now you see if you have 2 of your top batters have taken those 5 overs, and those are the 5 overs that went for 25, 26 between them, 25 between them, and then you see what the rest of the team has done. Nothing that spectacular. Pooran, yes, 36 for 21. So this is all Kyle Mayers. He, by getting that 73 of a strike rate of 200, has really played one of the innings of this tournament.
He has absolutely spectacular innings, but also Ayush Badoni, 18 of 7, Gautam 6 of 1. Okay, which means 24 of 8 balls in the end, which are striking at 300.
Nice.
Big punch up at the end.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what happened. If you look at it, Krunal Pandya comes in when the third wicket falls, and at that point in time, there are 100 for 3.
Yeah.
Okay, 100 for 3 in how many overs? In 11.3 overs. How many balls left? So there are 9 into 650, 57 balls left.
Yeah.
He's batting at one end. He bats for exactly 13 balls.
Yeah.
So the moment he gets a ball, he takes a single and somebody, a West Indian, whacks it at the other end. That was the formula they used.
Yeah.
And that was exactly what happened. One guy defending at one end, the other guy goes and whacks it out of the stadium. And it was the West Indians first, and then Badoni and Krishnappa Gautam.
Well, talking about Indian bowlers, I was all Indian bowlers because for Delhi, which is the Indian bowlers who were bowling, let's have a look at what they did. Khalil actually ended up finishing well. That last over got a little expensive, but otherwise he did his job, picked up 2 wickets, 4 overs for 30. Mukesh actually was very impressive, went wicketless, but was actually quite impressive. Chetan Sakaria was really taken to the cleaners. Akshar Patel picked up the 1 wicket and Kuldeep was fairly tight as well. What did you make, Michael, of young Mukesh? I know that 4 overs, 34 for no wicket. If you look at just the numbers, it doesn't look very impressive. But just his run-up, his line and length, the way he was actually bowling, did you see some glimpses of promise there?
Yeah, absolutely. You can always see, I mean, he didn't get the wickets and it always like a wicket or 2, but you can always see that someone's got a bit of class about them. They don't have to bowl too often and that many deliveries to see that the action's good. It's quite repetitive. There's plenty there, lots to work with, lots to improve upon as well. But yeah, I think it's a really good cricket wicket because, there is a little bit there for the seamers when they get it right. There is a bit there for the spinners when they get it right. But if you just stray off your line and your length and the batter decides to go on the positive front foot and start to attack, the pitch is there to play great shots. And we've seen the ball fly to all parts, but then we've seen the ball beat the outside edge. I think it's a really good cricket wicket. I always like, the first pitch today in the afternoon, I thought it was a little bit dead, a bit flat. Whereas this one, I can see a bit of action for everyone. If you play well, you're going to score runs. If you bowl well, you're going to get wickets, which is exactly what you want.
Yeah, it was spicy. And it turned as well. When Akshar got the wicket of Mayers, that ball is probably turned more than Akshar, than any delivery Akshar has turned.
Notice what happened after that. Akshar finishes at that end. And then they bring Kuldeep back, they bring him back to Aksar's end because that was the end and he had a very good last over. Yeah. Obviously, there's one side and obviously the Delhi guys will be watching that as well and saying, that's the end.
Lucknow guys.
Lucknow guys are going to watch it and say, that's the end. Our spinners are going to bowl from.
Look, if you want to have a group of batters who have a chance of, a chase at 10 and over, then this is not a bad bunch. I'll tell you that. This is a bunch of horses that you'd happily put some money on because you've got Warner and Prithvi Shaw opening. Prithvi, of course, well, don't have to tell you what kind of form he's been in. Mitchell Marsh, we don't need to tell Indian fans that as well. Saw him in the ODI series just recently and saw just way too much of him if you were an Indian bowler. Riley Russo, who's been really good for South Africa, he's been in form. Sarfaraz has been getting domestic runs, albeit in red ball cricket, but runs are runs. And there's Robin Powell, and we know, the kind of Powell hitting that he can do. And Akshar Patel. And now they've got
Aman Khan.
Aman Khan as well, who can talk the ball.
Yeah, lower order Bombay, close friend of Shreyas Iyer. They played a lot of cricket together. T20 Bombay League, Mumbai had a T20 league. He absolutely whacked it.
Yeah.
Again, late middle order batsmen who can really power.
Okay.
And in this kind of ground, you need power.
Yep.
You need brute
It's
power.
big,
If you notice, the Kunal Pandyas of the world were not really getting that kind of power. So they were content to play it around. Here you need to, either you have sublime timing like Nicholas Pooran, or you need power like a Kyle Mayers can just muscle it out of the ground. And I think they have that power, and that's why they must have looked at the surface and said, we need a power hitter in the end for, just for extra insurance.
Lots of power hitters there, Michael. Then do you expect the captain, David Warner, to do what we were discussing earlier, which is like, listen, I'll just hold this end up. Don't worry, I'll take the quick singles. He's very quick running between the wicket. He's got about 15 years or 10 years on Prithvi Shaw, but he can do outrun him. He can outrun anyone. Do you think
anyone can outrun Prithvi Shaw as well?
Naughty. But do you see that happening for this 194 chase to be successful?
Oh, I think they'll come out a bit faster than we saw KL Rahul, but I don't think they need to be 60 after 6. I think we've seen in terms of the pitch in the first innings that it does stay fine throughout the innings. You do need a little bit of time to get in there and you can explode and hit the boundaries. I think the key to them is not losing wickets. If they don't lose too many wickets in the power play, it gives them more ammo for that 6 to 20 over period. They've just got to be in the game, get to the 15th over with a chance. And if you're needing 12 and over, 13 and over in the last 5, but you've got 7 wickets in the tank, 6, you've got a chance. If you're 6 down, requiring 13s and 14s in the last 5 overs, it's very, very difficult. So they have to make sure they've got wickets in the tank and get to that 15th over mark. And if they need 60 or 70 in the last 5, I think they've got a chance.
Yeah, that's where I guess Warner becomes even more important, because remember, he's got a bunch of power hitters on the other side. Prithvi Shaw, Mitchell Marsh, Powell. So there's quite a few. Riley Russo as well. So yeah, it's good on the other side. But let's have a look at the Lucknow bowlers. Remember, they've made a change as well. Their impact player has come in. That's Krishnappa Gautam. So they have the extra spin option to go with. But otherwise, well, it's not too shabby there as well. There's the pace of Mark Wood. There's Jaydev Unadkat. If the surface gives you anything, he's going to exploit it. Avesh Khan, Ravi Bishnoi, Krunal Pandya, Marcus Stoinis. Plenty of bowling options. Deepak Hooda bowled for India. Plenty of bowling options there.
Plenty of bowling options, but remember one thing, it will be Mark Wood and Bishnoi who will have to do a lot of the running, because look, there's a lot of dew on this pitch. People like Deepak Hooda perhaps who are really normally effective, the more the dew is going to come on, the less it's more difficult for them to grip the ball. Spinners may not have it easy on this pitch, and you were noticing towards the end that people were finding it, the way they were scattered.
They were slipping.
Yeah, they were slipping on the outfield. A lot of that fielding was also about a wet ball, so it's not going to be an easy place to bowl and field.
Who do you think, Michael, would be the key bowlers for Lucknow?
Oh, I'll speak about Mark Wood. It wouldn't be surprising if he's up front against David Warner. He's roughed him up a little bit in the past, and I think it's a good matchup to go hard at David Warner, try and get into his ribs. So it wouldn't be surprising if that they've got a well balanced unit. I like what Joy said about the dew. I think it's going to play a big part, because I don't care what you ball, whether it's spin, seam, pace. When you get a ball that's just slightly slippy, it becomes that much more difficult to control and get your lengths right and get your skill levels. And the slower balls become so much more of a risk when the ball's not quite as gripping in your fingers. So I do think the dew's going to play quite a big role.
Well, Michael just said that Delhi doesn't have to go for 60 in the power play, but I think they will. So I am saying my prediction is 56.
I mean, basically you've won this, so you need to have another competition just to prove that you're the...
Yeah. I could have just rested on my laurels and said, oh, that's it, game's up because I won. But I want to go again, all in, like Casino Royale.
How much did you say?
56.
You want to go in one, Mike, money?
45. I'm going a bit lower.
45,
45?
61. I will do the horrible thing and slip in between. 52.
52. So 56, 52, 45. Do you want to come right in the middle with 51? Do it.
Okay. 51.
You know it's going to trouble you if you don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to
Yeah,
bisect
yeah,
this.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. All right, he's bisect. Did you say 45 or 46?
He said 45.
Oh, so then you
45.
can't bisect it then.
Yeah, exactly I can't because you've not given me that opportunity.
50.5 for Joy then. All right, 50 and a half for Joy. Well, that's all we have time for. We're going to see you at the end of the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox. And of course, at the end of this game, we're going to come and talk about this and the previous game on Cricbuzz Live. Excuse me. It just means I need a little bit of hot water and some hot food. I'm going to go have that. Maybe we'll get Manish Bhattacharjya to do the Combox again. A puppeteer. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in a while.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ರೈಲು
Hyderabad 50 express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दो